There are more than 5,000 asylum seekers in Scotland. Around 90% are living in temporary accommodation in Glasgow. Most have fled war, persecution and threats to their lives. And now, in a country where they've sought safety, those who are given the right to stay end up facing yet another challenge.
My brothers just got a call from him, hey, we've got the eviction letter, but we just got 8 days to move, and I was like, wow, 8 days is not enough just to find a new flat.
Applying for refugee status can be a long and complicated process. When their claims are approved, people find themselves in a race against the clock. Their financial support stops and they have to move on from asylum accommodation.
If you're going to throw me out, because that's what the law says and that's what it's saying, how do you expect me to survive? I might end up getting sick, so I'm worried for myself where I'm going to stay in case something like that happens.
Gaining refugee status should be cause for celebration. We've been spending time with people who say it can be anything but, and they're terrified about what's to come.
Well, like I can say, the coldness is really not good for anyone. No one would love to be in the coldness, no matter how far it is. So if homelessness is going to give that to me, I would say it would be the best scaring thing that I have right now. So I'm scared for that.
Reagan dreamed of a career as a journalist, but he was forced to leave Uganda when he was 25 years old. Over the past few years, he's been in and out of overcrowded accommodation.
It's something that is very painful and stressing, but tough times call for tough measures, and you get mentally broken down when you are waiting for what the Home Office states. The timing is not what they say it is. They'll tell you do this 3 weeks, 6 weeks, and 6 months end up being 3 years. So you get mentally broken down.
Reagan, who speaks multiple languages and volunteers his time helping others like himself, has recently been granted refugee status.
When you get a positive answer, you first be happy for yourself. First forget about the problems that you have. And I think I'm still in the process of understanding who I am, where I come from, and how I feel safe in Scotland. Mm-hmm. And I'm creating places and friends and spaces where I feel safe, and even helping out other people if I can be. Mm-hmm. Like how I'm working with Refugees for Justice and Citizens UK to reach out to other people. Mm-hmm. And make sure refugees are okay in this country and they feel safe and fine.
When the Home Office approves a refugee application, the person should receive a letter telling them this. They should also be sent a biometric residence permit, which gives them the right to study, live and claim benefits in the UK. After receiving their acceptance letter, the refugee will also get a discontinuation letter, which tells them their financial support will end in 28 days. Following that, they should be sent an eviction letter from their accommodation provider, and legally they can be told to move out within 7 days. But delays throughout the process mean many people don't have the full month to get their lives in order.
The problem is now the clock is ticking whenever you get your refugee status, the letter of approval. The minute you get your status, then you have to prepare yourself to leave the accommodation literally in 7 days.
Reagan hasn't received his eviction notice yet, but he knows it'll be at his door any day now.
The process is not as straightforward as it's supposed to be. So you can't get a flat in 7 days, you can't get a temporary flat in 7 days. So you are left in a situation where you have to sleep in a hotel, or you have to sleep on the street.
Those in Glasgow, like Reagan, are entering a housing market under severe pressure. The City Council says there's already a shortfall of around 1,600 social housing properties.
It's very difficult to find houses. There's no housing for social housing available for, frankly, nobody, and not just asylum seekers and refugees. And imagine in that scenario, you are someone who never been working, you don't know the system, and you're an asylum seeker, you just became a refugee, and you have a language barrier.
You're thinking about what to eat, how to get yourself a job, what to do and move on. And then you're also thinking about is where am I going to put my head? And that is a very big challenge to me, and I'm scared. I've had 2 or 3 friends who were lucky enough to go in charities, sleep in churches and all that, but not everyone gets that lucky. Not everyone has that information.
In a statement, the Home Office told us refugees will continue receiving support until their BRP is issued. However, it says individuals should make their onward plans as soon as possible after receiving their decision. But for the Cruz family, that's easier said than done. Their lives are in limbo after they were unable to find new accommodation. So you have all of your belongings here in boxes in this room, really?
Yeah, because I am waiting for the answer. When I receive the answer, just I'm going to leave.
Need to be able to go
But it's
quickly.
difficult. I have to bring something. I keep again.
My brothers just got a call from him, hey, we've got eviction letter, but we just got 8 days to move, and I was like, wow, 8 days is not enough just to find a new flat.
So you're being supported by charities just
Yeah.
now until you can find new accommodation?
Yeah.
The family had no other choice but to flee their home in El Salvador 5 years ago, leaving behind the lives they'd built and their loved ones.
In El Salvador, there's a lot of problems with the gangs, so there was a point where our business was just doing very well. So these gangs is just asking for protection money, protect them. And then at some point we decided it was like our life was in danger.
It was very difficult because it was my dream. I had a business, but we have to leave everything.
Gerardo, who was studying medicine there, is now looking for jobs where he can make money quickly after so long out of employment. The Cruz family is safe for now, but charities can only buy them so much time. Glasgow City Council is expecting around 1,400 people whose asylum claims are successful to be potentially facing homelessness this winter. How alarming is that figure?
It is alarming, and particularly for organisations that supporting asylum seekers and refugees. At the moment, the Home Office and in some way, the local authorities are relying on the charity of the organisations. We won't be able to, to help 1,400 people in a matter of a month or 2.
Nina, whose identity we're protecting, is another person who will likely need to rely on charities in the coming weeks. And you have an eviction notice to leave your
Yes.
current accommodation. When does that expire?
By the end of October.
What accommodation do you expect to have after that time? Have you been able to find anything?
No,
Nina left Iran 2 years ago and ended up in Scotland.
I had to escape. It's illegal that people change their religion. We have to be Muslim. When it's by force, then we don't have any choice. And if people change their religion, they will be hanged.
She tried to go to America to work for her cousin, but she was arrested at Edinburgh Airport and was given a choice: to claim asylum here or be deported back to Iran. That must have been frightening for you to end up having to stay in a country which you weren't planning to be in.
Yes, exactly. Even at the first night when I had miscarriage, I didn't know where am I, and I just afraid maybe they will deport me.
So I'm right in saying you had a miscarriage
Yes.
here. I'm so sorry, that must have
No
been
worries.
an awful thing to go through, particularly on your own.
Yes, of course.
Nina, who was a teacher, deeply misses her husband and teenage son. But until she can be reunited with them, she wants to stay in Glasgow, where she's found a community.
There is not enough space for asylum for refugees here. Home Office claims that they don't have enough houses, and maybe they will send us to the villages nearby.
I suppose it will be hard to imagine right now when you don't know where you'll be staying, but how do you feel about your future here?
I can't sleep at all because I'm so worried, and it's like panic attack for me.
The Cruz family, Reagan and Nina, didn't come to Scotland by choice. But despite the obstacles they're facing, all desperately want to rebuild their lives here.
Scottish people are so kind, and I am safe here, so there is no reason to leave this country again. Now I'm happy with the place that I have.
Scotland is a very good country full of diversity people, very loving, strong, charismatic, and they sometimes speak things that I don't understand. I'm still trying to get on with it, but I'm really looking forward to build a life in Scotland.
I just don't know what they will be able to do, and I don't know how to answer their response if they ask me for support. So the best advice for them is just, wait and, I don't know, pray. And literally, if we're in a position we have nothing else to do, it's just to pray.